whether this is going to come out. If it is, happy days. Tried just about every combination of audio to try and get the vlog to work with this flip up helmet. I've ordered and returned more things than I can remember after failure to get everything to work, synchronise, etc. So this, I think, is probably my final effort. Done lots of filming on the bike before, but been unsuccessful in getting any of my audio to work. Visors open at the moment, so it might be a little bit noisy, if indeed it's working. Also, I'm fully cameraed up today as well. Just fitted a chin mount to my helmet, so I've got the GoPro on there. Got the X4 Insta looking at me and looking straight ahead. You can probably see that on the GoPro. And behind me, down there somewhere, I've got my old X2 pointing at the back wheel. So with a bit of luck, I should be able to get some interesting footage. But I've got to stop for petrol first, so that's a bit of a drag. But I think I'm going to leave everything running rather than try to stop and start. Otherwise I'm going to cock things up. Oh, would you believe it? Every bloody pump is busy. Flippin' typical. Hold on, I think there might be one there. Look at that. That's lucky. Right. So if the audio's working, filled up now, 200 odd miles in the tank. Just planning a short, I don't know, about 40 mile loop today, just going up to Marlborough, across to Aldbourne, down to Hungerford, and then back across to Pewsey. Pewsey being where I am right now, hometown or home village, where I'm setting off from. All of this in sunny Wiltshire. Which I can actually say today because remarkably the sun is shining. I'm filming this cue on late August 2024. I don't know, about the 28th, something like that. The date notable by the announcement this morning that Oasis are reforming for a tour next year. Probably the biggest news of the day. Should be good. I doubt very much whether I'll get a ticket. Probably won't even bother trying. It's very warm today. 24 degrees. Doesn't sound that warm, but as all you bikers will know, when you're not moving and you're all topped up in your bike gear, It's a tad warm, even though I've got one of these mesh jackets on, very light gloves. When you're not moving, it is warm. So, just about every road going out of Pewsey at the moment, I'm sure it's like this everywhere, has got this gravel coating where they've been doing some road repairs. I do not know why we do it this way in this country. It's absolutely horrendous. Just chuck a load of tarmac and gravel all over the road and hope everything's okay, which for bikers, of course, presents its challenges. So nice and slow along here. Should be doing 20, I'm doing 30, 35, but it's been down for a couple of weeks or more now, so it's not quite as bad as it is when it's freshly laid. So yeah, anyway, I was saying, so on the audio side of things, if it doesn't work this time, after, as I said earlier, so to watch this little bend here, the gravel on it, nice and easy. That's it, it's got through to the end of that. I've tried everything. I've tried Bluetooth mics, every kind of microphone, the Valiant microphones, wireless, wired, variety of locations on the crash helmet, which is made more challenging by the fact that I've got to flip up because I'm over 60 and that's the law. So yeah, it makes everything a little bit more tricky in terms of locating the microphone. The other thing I mentioned earlier, this chin mount, because it's a flip up, it's a Neotech, Shoei Neotech 2 incidentally, strictly 30 through here, very often cameras. Yeah, Shoei Neotech 2, and there's not a lot of room for a camera mount, a chin mount. I mean, I could have stuck one on the side, I suppose, but it would have had to have been towards the back of the helmet, and I think it would have looked crap, and I'm not sure what the results would have been like. Anyway, chin mounts. A company called Chin Mounts have pretty much developed a chin mount for almost every crash helmet that's out there, from what I can tell, including the Neotech 2. So after a lot of umming and ahhing, and always previously having had cameras mounted on the handlebars, I thought I'd give it a shot. So this is the first outing, this is the first outing with the, as well as the audio, with the chin mount. So if the camera falls off because the chin mount fails, you'll probably know about it. I've got, as I said, 3 cameras mounted. That's not anything like I would normally do, just to try everything out. Got the GoPro on the front, crash on, and I've got the 2 Instas, the X4 on the bars, and the X2 hopefully still there, looking down at my back wheel. Obviously I can't see the X2, so if that falls off, I'll be none the wiser. Just keep everything crossed there. This is notorious for a bit of gravel on this bend as well, so you have to take it. It's one of those that you'd love to just roll it over, but too risky. The X4, well, I can see that. If anything happens there, I'll know. On the handlebars, and the GoPro, as I said, on the chin, and you might be able to see from the GoPro, particularly if I look down, an array of remote controls. I know it's mad, isn't it? On the handlebars. So left to right, you've got the Insta, I can't remember what it's called. It's the latest remote control they have, which is connected up to the X4. Next to that in the middle is the previous Insta remote control, which I bought when the X2 was my main camera. So having still got that, that's connected up to the X2 on the back. And then I bought this really cheap remote that arrived yesterday. It's the one you can see on the right there. GoPro remotes are about 80 quid, and I didn't really want to spend out another big sum on yet another remote, so I tried this one out. Anyway, with the various deals and vouchers and things like that from Amazon, I picked up this remote for £18, believe it or not. So for 18 quid, I thought it's well worth giving it a go. As yet, it seems to be behaving. Doesn't have any sophistication to it at all. Just 4 LEDs that tell you whether it's on, how much power is left in the remote, whether it's recording, whether you're shooting video, or you've got it set to camera, and that is about it. So for anybody that might be interested, the 2 lights that are on right now, blue light with a little sort of Wi-Fi sign in it, that's telling me that it's happily connected to my GoPro. And the green light is the video light, which is telling me it's set to video. And the fact that the green light is flashing is telling me that it's recording video. So as it stands right now, I have 3 cameras rolling, 3 remote controls on, and looking down at them, they're all flashing in one way or another to tell me that the 3 cameras are actually recording. And that actually is the whole point of the remote controls. I mean, you know, it is obviously, if you've got a camera like the one I've got pointing at the back wheel, a remote control is essential, because you can't reach down and switch that thing on and off every time you need to. Anything on your handlebars, you can arguably switch it on and off when you're riding, but I have found it is a bit fiddly, and the remote makes the whole process a whole lot easier. And as for the GoPro that is now mounted on the chin of my helmet, you know, a remote is essential, because you can't see the camera, you can't tell if it's recording or not. You've got to have some kind of visual cue in front of you to give you an idea what's going on. So hence the 3 remotes. And as I say, highly unlikely that I will often have all 3 cameras going at the same time. But today I just felt like I'd get out and test everything. The new audio setup, which incidentally, if that's not working, all this wittering on will be for nothing. But hopefully it is working. Just coming into Marlborough now. For those that you don't know, Marlborough is a reasonably sized market town in Wiltshire, northern Wiltshire. Very nice place, Marlborough. Quite an expensive place. Posh houses, expensive houses. We're going to go down the high street now, which I believe is reputed to be one of the widest high streets in the country. I don't know if it's the widest, probably just one of the widest. It's very narrow at the end there, so I can't really filter. Hopefully won't be held up for too long. So, plan is down Marlborough High Street, north out of Marlborough, up to heading towards Swindon, but thankfully, well before we get to Swindon, we'll be turning off. Going through a little place called Aldbourne St George, again a very nice little Wiltshire village, and then from there we'll cut across to Aldbourne, which is a delightful place, absolutely lovely place. Very, very famous for being the home of the US, I think it's the 101st Airborne. In other words, the Band of Brothers, those guys, they were based at Aldbourne until D-Day. And yeah, it's a lovely little village. A couple of very nice cafes. I've got hill start. I've just put it on this 1250 GS. And sometimes it gets a bit funny and doesn't release. And on more than one occasion I've been highly embarrassed by revving the nuts off this thing only to be stationary, watching the drivers around me probably laughing their heads off. But I've had the dealer take a look at it. They've done a reset on it and promised me that now it's all working okay. And actually it released probably a little bit too soon there. Deliberately gave it some beans in case, probably too much. Right, here we go. We're going to make it? Yes, I think so. What is that? So here we go. So the high street is the issue here. I wanted to go down the high street so that you can get my teeth in today. Get to see it, but it's a little bit gridlocked. For a little market town in Wiltshire, it's kind of like this hub where several roads come into, including the A4. The main A4 comes into, and actually we're on the A4 right now, believe it or not. Comes into and out again. I'm going to go left here, sod the high street. I'm going to do a little rat run. I can't be bothered to try and filter around that lot. We'll save Marlborough High Street for another day. Leave the cameras running until the batteries run out. I don't know, I may choose to stop and start one or two of them, but let's see how that goes. It would be nice to actually get moving. So, might be good to share with you what I'm riding. I'm on a BMW R1250GS Trophy. It's actually a rally trophy. Not sure how that all kind of works out, but it's got a rally seat, a couple of bits and pieces that are slightly different. But essentially, it's trophy colours. It's got all the usual bells and whistles that you get with the trophy models. Right, here we go. And I got it, I don't know, probably about a month ago. Always wanted the big GS. Yes, probably would have gone for the 1300 if it had been in the same kind of price bracket, but they are of course crazy money. This one, fun and games here. Thank you. There's a tune for you, wanker. Oh, excuse my French. Great indicating. Sat-nav is persisting, taking me to the last waypoint, which we've just avoided, but I think it's sorted itself out now. Right, let's see if we can get out now. Here we go. Yeah, the GS. So I found this one at the dealership Barnstormer in Alton. 72 plates, a late 22. Actually, I think it's an early 23. Anyway, it's a 72 plate. Had 7,000 miles on it when I got it. Pretty much mint. I don't like any marks or scuffs or anything on my motorcycles, and this one was almost as good as the day it left the showroom. And obviously, being a recent BMW from a dealer, they put the full a full 2-year BMW warranty on it, and this still actually has some of the original warranty remaining, but I've got a full 2 years warranty, and also breakdown cover. So yeah, so far so good. Not new to me in the style of bike. I traded in a 850 GS that I bought new about a year and a half ago, probably 15 months ago. Absolutely lovely bike, really lovely bike. But I just got it into my head that I really needed a big one, so decided to trade up. But the 850, what a cracking bike that was. And various other bikes prior to that over the years, which I won't bore you with right now. So this is the main road north out of Marlborough. I can't remember what, I think the A346 or something like that, don't quote me on that. It takes you up to the M4 and beyond the M4 to Swindon, but luckily we're going nowhere near Swindon today. We're going to be turning off in about a mile's time, and then we'll be heading cross country via Aldbourne, St George to Aldbourgh. Are still flashing, reassuring me that the cameras are still rolling. Obviously the first thing to go with all of these cameras will be the batteries, and I'm fully expecting to maybe only get about 40 minutes, probably, maybe even slightly less. So we're turning off here, a couple of 100 yards to Aldbourne. So a little bit quieter now. Little bit of a blast there before I've hit the 30, which is quite nice. Certainly can feel the 136 horses I think this has got. The 850 I think it was 95. The 850 was no slouch by any stretch of the imagination, but this 1250 is a beast. hell of a lot of them around. It's very easy to get yourself around a bend only to find a very slow tractor in front of you. I'm hoping the X2 camera on the back will pick up the exhaust tone on this bike quite nicely, because this came with the Akropovich, factory standard Akropovich. It's not been an upgrade, it came new with it, and it has to be said, it's got an absolutely magnificent roar to it. So here we go, Mr. White Man thought about it, decided against it. Something to be said for dash cams on bikes these days. I've toyed with the idea of one of these in-off kits. So many incidents, unnecessary incidents, usually caused by car drivers. Dash cam may not stop you being involved in an incident, but at least it would potentially provide some evidence as to whose fault it is. Has been a spate of fatalities in the North Wiltshire roads in recent times. I think it's not an exaggeration to say there's been 6 or 7 fatalities of motorcyclists in the last month. Mostly motorcyclists like myself in their 60s. Too young. So it doesn't do any harm at all to just ride a little bit defensively, as they always teach you on advanced motoring courses, whether it's a car, motorcycle. It's not stiflingly cautious, but defensively, just anticipating some of the things I've been talking about. Cars and vans with their nose sticking out of the junction, just assume they're going to pull out. If you're coming up to junctions that you can't see, but you know they're there, just be mindful of the fact that if you can't see that junction, if somebody's at the junction, they can't see you. Just defensive driving. Always going to save you, but it's going to reduce your chances of anything serious happening. So the camera on the back wheel, remote control, is no longer flashing. I suspect that's probably run out of battery. The other two at the moment are still flashing away very accommodatingly. So the GoPro is still recording. the GoPro remote stopped flashing. I pressed record again and it's flashing again, so I'm not too sure where I stand with that. You may be getting none of this, or you may be getting it still flashing. Usually what happens with these cameras, I'm sure those of you that use them will know, is they'll stop recording when the battery is pretty much exhausted. Sometimes if you press record again you can squeeze another minute or two, but usually very little. So the X4, which is the one that I would expect to have the longest battery life, being a new camera with a high capacity battery, is still flashing away, and I've got every reason to believe that that's happy at the moment. The X2, as I say, has stopped flashing. That could of course mean that the camera's fallen off the back of the bike. I hope not. I'm laughing, but if it has, that'd be a very expensive mistake putting it there, not having my eyes on it. Hopefully though, it's just stopped flashing because it's run out of battery. I think I might try pressing the button again just to see if we can squeeze a bit more out of it. It's, the solid green light is actually telling me that the remote is still connected to the camera, which would suggest that the camera is still attached to the bike. Let's get on a straight bit. I'll press that remote, see if we can get it to fire up again. Here we go. Let's see what we do. Lights come on, it is flashing again. Okay, so all the cameras are flashing. Let's just enjoy the ride for a minute. Side of these lovely Wiltshire country roads. There's tractors drop all sorts of shit over the road. So it's not gravel, it's literally shit or mud. Today's not about tear-arsing around. It's about testing the tech. Most importantly, just enjoying a lovely ride with some nice scenery. It says unusual weather. The battery will run out soon. West Berkshire, so just leave the county for a short while today and very quickly get back into Wiltshire again. Making head from Marlborough. In a westerly direction back to Pewsey. Got to watch the speed cameras along here. Strict 30 and some roadworks for good measure. Camera's still there. That's handy. Yeah. Somebody's got a leaky pipe somewhere. What would have otherwise been a lovely dry ride. Hello, sir. Has just told me this is the B4192 for anybody that might be remotely interested. So while I've still got you, mention of the sat nav, might be worth just sharing with you what I use for navigation. Another thing that I've tried countless options through the phone, through the old BMW Nav6, which is the predecessor to the one I've got now. I didn't like that at all. Got rid of that very soon after buying it. Or the cradle, BMW cradle that fits into the GPS preparation, which is great because then you pop your phone in there for access to BMW's own proprietary navigator built into the Motrad app, and any of your others. But that was okay. But I have in the last, I don't know, probably 6 months or something, perhaps like less, invested in the latest BMW CRN connected ride navigation. We're about to come to the A4 incident, just to interrupt myself rudely. So left to Hungerford, you can see Marlborough right. If we were to go right there, we'd be on the A4 and eventually back in Marlborough 10 or 15 miles down the road. What we're doing is heading back to Pewsey on a different road, which will involve us coming into Hungerford here. We're going to go down Hungerford High Street, which is, again, Hungerford is a lovely town. I've got a feeling Hungerford is in West Berkshire as well. I should know that really. Hungerford is sadly infamous, as I'm sure anybody listening to this apart from the very young, will know of the Hungerford, I don't know, massacre, basically a mass shooting that took place here in I think the mid-80s, and what's the chap's name, Michael Ryan, I think it might have been, I can't remember, but anyway, he just ran riot up the high street here and in various other parts of Hungerford, shooting randomly as he went, killing multiple people. I can't remember the number exactly, but I've got a feeling it was somewhere between 15 and 20 people that he killed. Apologies if I've overstated or understated that number, it's just my best recollection. And Hungerford will always be associated with that terrible time, but it is an absolutely beautiful, albeit busy, little, again probably market town I would say. We're just cutting straight through the high street here, so not seeing a huge amount of it, but it's Hungerford. So as we head out of Hungerford here, we'll get on to quite a nice country road that takes us pretty much all the way to Pewsey, and there are some really nice stretches, albeit with the caveats of lots of little kind of small junctions, some hidden tractors and all the rest of the stuff I was talking about earlier. Be a little bit aware of that, but and potholes, until there's been quite a lot of repairs to the roads in recent times, of course, but the potholes on this road are absolutely terrible. But not too troubling on a bike, because most of them are or were on the edge of the road. As I found out to my cost, in the winter on this very road, probably 10 miles further on, in the dark, in the rain, in my brand new Audi A3, down I must have been, I think, with the crater, because it basically took two of the wheels out, two instant punches, both wheels damaged, all told with tyres repaired to the wheels, etc. Had a bill of around £500 or so, which I did successfully get back from Wiltshire County Council after probably 6 months. So I don't know whether the GoPro is still on for certain, but the remote control is still flashing at me, implying that it is still on, in which case it's lasting well, the battery's lasting well. I thought it would be gone by now, but we'll see when I get home and look at the footage. And I'm most interested, obviously, to find out what the audio is like. I've got a horrible feeling that it's going to be the case. If in these twisty and fun. Within the limitations of surface and junctions, potential travelers. It would be a shame actually if the GoPro isn't still working, because this is probably the nicest bit of riding that we'll get today. Not an overly busy road. So we're making a bit of progress. But the X4 will be picking it up anyway, so even if there's no commentary, for some people that will be a bit, even without the commentary. I think here's an example of the junctions I was talking about. You see that little car sticking out there, coming in the other direction. That junction is pretty blind. The car is angled in such a way that it's very difficult for car drivers to see what's coming down the road. It's an example of on a bike particularly, you need to have your wits about you. Nothing unusual for Wiltshire though, that kind of thing exists everywhere, but this road has got 3 or 4 examples of that. So if the audio has worked, then it's good news, and that will prompt me to do it again in future videos. I'll be taking you elsewhere, but also maybe focusing on 1 or 2 things that I've done to the bike, 1 or 2 things I like and dislike about the bike. It's mainly good, not all good, but mainly good. Let's just see how we get on with the audio this particular trip. Section there, a bit gravelly in the middle, because that would be a lovely one to just lean left and right. Just be a little bit careful. So in a bit of a queue now, just coming up to a 30 zone, so not much opportunity to used these guys for a while. Actually, on this road, it's not easy at all. Very few straight sections where you can see far enough ahead. So the GoPro remote is still flashing at me, hopefully meaning it's still working. The X4, of course, the trusty X4, still flashing away. The X2 has, after a second bold effort and giving me a little bit longer, has once again stopped flashing quite some time ago, I think. Might give it one more attempt, so we'll go now. I don't think there's any life left in that battery. No, nothing. Oh, hold on. Tell a lie. It's flashing red again. Who knows? So, positives. The remote controls all seem to be working effortlessly, albeit the X2 one has turned itself off a couple of times. As I say, I think because it's probably struggling with the battery. The GoPro one turned itself off once. Since I restarted it quite some time ago, it's continued to flash away, so reasonable chance that that's still working. Got to be a bit careful here. This is a relatively recently gravelled road, so just treating those corners, those bends with a bit of respect.